Okay, so I'll explain why we went straight into it today. It's, Endwalker has come out, and I know that I said I would finish, Realm Reborn, but it is now ridiculously hard to get in. So all that I did is I got into this, and then I turned on the stream. I'm going to turn it up right now just to make sure that I'm working, because I was not able to do that. It is. So we're going to finish Realm Reborn. Because Endwalker, in the time of filming this, has come out, we may encounter issues. I could get kicked out, in which case I'll turn off the stream and turn it back on again, because the wait could be a very long time, and then the video will probably just be stitched together, because I do just want one more video on the 7th Astral era. But anyway, let's get into it. Administrative decision. I'm also a little stuffed up, so... You must be weary, Shadow. And now may very well be our only chance to... Antecedent. A messenger from Ul'dah arrived with a missive for you. The Royal Seal. Curious indeed. An invitation. On behalf of the Council of the Eorzean Alliance, Her Royal Majesty Namino Olnamo invites the Scions of the Seventh Dawn to attend a feast at the Royal Palace of Ul'dah in honor of Ishgard's recent victory. It would seem we are to be recognized in our part for lifting the siege, you for your valiant efforts as commander of the adventurers contingent, and the Archons for their earnest attempts to rouse the city-states. Truly, I find it strange that the Alliance leaders should think themselves deserving of a place of such celebration. All three refused to deploy their standing armies, preferred to send hastily assembled companies of sellswords, many of whom perished ere the siege began. Are they truly so brazen to seek to share the glory of your triumph? But mayhap they simply seek a pretext to meet with the Ishgardians while the mood is yet jubilant. Such an occasion would present a fine opportunity to press for Ishgard's return to the Eorzean Alliance. We have scarce had time to mourn Moenbreda, and I, for one, am in no mood to carouse. But I suppose we must put away our grief for the good of the realm. Though you were promised rest, I fear I must insist that you also attend. It would be a strange celebration indeed if the victorious hero were not present. Pray content yourself with the thought that such occasions may bring out momentous change, and this without recourse to bloodshed. Oh, hey, Rachel. Oh, never really got permission to call you Rachel. But, Totter, if you would do me a favor of contacting the rest of the Scions. Of course, Antecedent. And please let me know if there's anything else I can do. And I guess if you've never seen the ending of Realm Reborn, the original one, then you've joined at a good time. I did just start. Curious, I have never known Tataru to sigh at such request. Could aught be amiss? I just realized I never checked my green screen, so I hope nothing's poking out. She seems to have left. Tataru is conspicuous by her absence. Tataru, I believe she just stepped outside. Now that I think on it, she did seem rather preoccupied. And here she is. Oh, Shadow, it's you. I didn't mean to worry anyone. It's nothing really. Well, it's nothing exactly, but it feels like nothing compared to the towering trials you and the others face every day. And that's why I should probably talk to Minfilia before things get any worse. You always know what to say, Shadow. I'm glad we had this little chat. You know, nowadays in the story, uh, you can there's more text options and your character can have more personality, but I kind of miss when characters just kind of, where just your presence was enough to have it make everyone have an epiphany of sorts. Yes, Tadaru, you have my undivided attention. I've been hesitant to broach the subject, but with all recent excitement, what with all the recent excitement, but Shadow made me realize there's no time like the present, and time is what I'm here to ask you for. I'm not sure I understand. If you wish to be excused from your duties for a time, then you certainly have earned the rest. But I suspect that lying abed is far from your intent. You know me too well, Antecedent. There is, in fact, something I've been wanting to try my hand at. Along with the adventurers and the Crystal Braves, the Scions are constantly being thrown into dangerous battles and deadly predicaments. Even Hoary Boulder and Coltonay have been promoted from guard duty to fill our need for competent warriors. And so it seems only right that I, too, should acquire the power to defend myself, and others more importantly. When I return, I shall be both your receptionist and your bodyguard. Whoa, hey! That's the first time I've almost been knocked to the ground by a Lalafell. I've never seen Miss Tadaru so determined. Has aught befell with which I might help, Antecedent? Ah, not at present, thank you. Was there something you would ask of me? Ah, yes. Pray excuse my distraction. An adventurer who was to join us for escort duty was injured while on patrol, and I fear we cannot properly defend the scholars entrusted to our protection without the aid of at least one more guard. Therefore, I humbly request that another adventurer, of the capable kind, of course, be assigned to our party. Very well. I shall consider the potential candidates and provide you with a replacement as soon as I am able. My thanks, Antecedent. I take my leave of you. Oh, we got 2 to take on. An unexpected ambition? The power to defend oneself. Tatru has ever been full of surprises. Now that I think on it, I do recall Oriange mentioning that she had developed an interest in Archimania. Mayhap she hopes to gain admittance to the Arcanist Guild in Limsa Laminsa. Yes, that would be the way of it. Would you be so kind as to journey to the guild to see that all is well? It is doubtless unwarranted, but surely I am not alone in my concern for her safety. Okay, so we can only do 1 mission at a time. I'm so surprised Limsa is this packed. Granted, I thought everybody would be in the new expansion side, but it's still packed over here. People showing off Reaper, I see. I think I saw 3 or 4 on the way over here. I should have just teleported. Am I dense? I think I'm dense. Oh yeah, here's the... Thought the stairs were on the inside. Found her. Shadow, what are you doing here? I didn't mean for her to worry. That's the last thing I wanted. Putting an end to such worries is precisely the reason I'm here, don't you see? I, Tadaru shall become a great and powerful Arcanist. And now, At Mistress Thurbergham's behest, I must go and complete a special training exercise. Until we meet again. Okay, so let's go figure out what this mission was. Double checking that she's not here before I go upstairs. Ah, if it isn't Shadow, what brings you to the guild? So you're acquainted with our newest member. An arcanist of your experience must see that her potential is somewhat lacking. Nevertheless, she would not be denied, and goes now to undertake her first trial, a simulated inspection of 3 crates. Doubtless you recall receiving similar training under Kiala's supervision. A thought occurs to me. Why not oversee Tataru's training yourself? Given your relationship with the girl and her familiarity with the task, I think you the ideal choice. You need only head to the cuffs south of the Zephyr Gate, as before, and observe at a distance. So, the reason why, the text was weird is because I am a level 50-something summoner, and, the other one, Scholar. Gotta watch her kill some ladybugs. And rats. If we can find her. Or Azure Seas to Pirate's Port, where she met her shining jewel. For to bring the smuggler's plan to naught came the last with whom none could fool. Beat him with a backdraft, gut him with a gust, deck him with a downburst, go carbuncle go. Are those crates I spy? Ah, and this must be the true test, but we're ready for them, aren't we, Carbuncle? Looks more like an aardvark than a rat. Oh. Carbuncle? I like how it trots away. Come back, Carbuncle! Come back! Shouting behind a rock. There we go. I should have known you'd come, Shadow. You needn't say a word. Your face says it all. I know you bore witness to my shame. Betrayed by my own Carbuncle and left at the mercy of those wild beasts. I must accept the truth. I'll never be a warrior like you or the others. I will inform Mistress Thurbergrim of my intention to withdraw from the guild. Arcanema, like so much else, is beyond me. Poor Tataru. We'll teleport in, but this time we will use them. Yeah, it's just a short teleport away. Ah, back so soon. How fared our fledgling arcanist? Abysmally, Mistress Thurbergrim. Abysmally, as Shadow will testify. I was wrong to become an arcanist. Wrong as usual. I'm completely and utterly unqualified, and I sincerely apologize for wasting your time. Tataru, if that were true, I would not have permitted you to join in the first place. We must all come to accept our limitations, lest our ambitions lead us astray. However, we must not lose sight of our strengths in the process. For example, your exceptional skill with numbers helped you to gain a solid grasp of the fundamentals of Arcanima. Were it not so, you would have struggled to even summon Carbuncle to your side. In my opinion, the Scions are truly fortunate to have such a capable and good-natured receptionist in their service. Would you not agree? You are too kind, Mrs. Thubergrim. Though I could not overcome this challenge, I shall take your words to heart and try not to be discouraged. Ancient ways, timeless wants. As fetching as these garments are, I fear I shall soon don them again. No, never don them again. But I can't go back to the Rising Stones without something to show for my time away. Wait, I know what I can do. That is, if you don't mind accompanying me for a little while longer. Wonderful. Then to Costa del Sol we go. It's a bit of a gamble, but I'm confident it will pay off. In her summer clothes. Yes, this is it. This is where the man at the drowning winch told me to look. There's a certain variety of clam which can be harvested this time of year in Bloodshore, one which produces the most marvelous pearls. However, these clams are also coveted by certain wild creatures, and since I fared rather poorly in battle last time, let us be off. Okay, so she's this way. What fortune! I've already found one. Would you be so kind as to keep watch while I work? This should only take a moment. Here, real quick. Sorry, the vibration is on. I don't know why it does that, but it was bothering me. Oh. Huh. Maybe I should have summoned Foghorn. That's probably kind of foreboding for what I want to do. If the stat squish... We'll see. Well fought, Shadow. Well fought. I knew I was right to come ask you. As for me, I have my prize, a bounty of blood pearls. So named for the reddish hue, they were treasured as wards against dark magics in ancient times. I thought I might make some charms for everyone, so that no matter where they go, they will always come home. It's sort of the power to defend myself and other people, in a way. Right, well, I mustn't keep Flauman waiting. There's work to be done, and lots of it. We're to secure provisions for the Scions and the Limson markets. She may have an eye for quality, but I have a nose for bargains. Will you be heading back to the Rising Stones? If so, pray convey my apologies to the antecedent, and tell her she needn't worry about me. Farewell, Shadow, and thank you for everything. That sounded rather final, didn't it? How about until we meet again? It's kind of ominous. We had only about 10 missions left. Maybe even less. So it shouldn't be that long of a stream. Welcome home, Shadow. I gather you found Tataru and Limza. My, it sounds as though she had quite an adventure, and while it did not end as she had hoped, I suspect that it would prove to be a valuable experience. I dare say she could have managed without our intervention. Even so, I appreciate you indulging my request. Where we are needed. I wonder, do you perchance recall the commitment I made to furnish Hoary Boulder and with a capable adventurer? Well, I am sorry to say that I as of yet been unable to do so. Now I realize that you are rather more than a capable adventurer, and that escort duty is frankly beneath a man of your talents. But I have no one else to turn to at present. Might you be willing to forego rest and assist in this matter? Generous to a fault. I thank you, Shadow. Now it seems only fair that I explain the import of the task in question. For some time, our order has employed a handful of scholars to travel around Eorzea, taking aetheric readings, that we might better understand the impact of primal summonings. Naturally, it behooves us to ensure our employees' safety, and so we ask the adventurers in our service to serve as escorts. Hoary Boulder and Coltane were to act as two such escorts, as was a third adventurer. Alas, due to injury, said adventurer is not presently fit for duty, hence my need to impose upon your goodwill. You truly are a pillar of strength, Shadow. Hoary Boulder will share with you the details of your task. He should be waiting for you outside. Be safe. Ah, Shadow, is it true that you agreed to lend us a hand? Huzzah! What did I tell you, Coltane? Our misfortune is becoming a blessing, an opportunity to serve alongside the Warrior of Light himself. Need I remind you that we have 3 scholars to escort, each of whom will take a different route. True, but our mission is the same. Separated by malms we may be, but in spirit we shall be together. If such thoughts bring you joy, you are welcome to think them. To more practical concerns, Shadow, we would have you attend to the scholar charged with surveying the South Shroud. He is waiting at Camp Tranquil as we speak. All you need to do is follow the man. He will determine the most appropriate locations to take his readings. In spirit, Shadow, in spirit we shall be together every step of the way. Okay, so go to Camp Tranquil. Are people still chilling here? No, wrong place. I was thinking of somewhere else. At last, the Scion's man deigns to grace me with his presence. A pity that we have no time for pleasantries. Our first destination is Issamhar. Come, we are late enough as it is. Yes, this location should suffice. Once I finish calibrating my instruments, I will require but a moment to take the necessary measurements. I trust I need not explain that my work can suffer no interruptions. Then please, stand at an appropriate distance to keep watch for wild beasts. Okay, I guess that last thing was just pretty strong for this time of the game. I haven't yet experimented if the stat squish really does affect all that much. I see we both completed our respective tasks, a satisfactory outcome. Though, if I can make one suggestion, you might try to dispatch your foes more quietly in the future. I do not like to pick fault, but I really must be allowed to concentrate. Now then, Snake Molt awaits, shall we? Right. About here, yes. As before, I would ask you to keep an eye out for dangerous beasts as I work. Yeah, they still seem to be doing little to no damage to me. Fascinating. These readings are not what I expected. Though perhaps that should come as no surprise, I am not given to superstition, but there is a queer, almost blasphemous air hereabouts. Let us quit this place and return to the Roots Lake. We have one more site to survey. Yeah. Sorry, I'm multitasking. Was there a dungeon to do? That'll slow us down a little bit. Seems there was. As before, my guardian, pray lead me to my task and ensure our safety. Ooh. The data should prove invaluable to... Ye gods, what is that stench? Did you slaughter a creep of adamantoids while my back was turned? Quickly now, to Camp Tranquil. I will not have my clothing reeking of blood and offal. You chose to paddle in the Ichor a while longer, I take it. No matter. I took advantage of my unexpected privacy and performed a cursory analysis of my data. It would appear that there has been a measurable decrease in Eorzea's ambient aether concentration since the calamity. However, this data is far from conclusive. We must take additional measurements to confirm my assessment. The least among us. For our next survey, I would have you escort me to Earth's front. The ambient ether concentrations there are so high that crystalline structures form spontaneously. Consequently, anomalous fluctuations should be much easier to detect. Brilliant, yes? No, don't bother answering. That was rhetorical. Now, come along anyway. And me being... my nose being stuffed up is making this hard to pronounce. Or it's making some words kind of comical, I think. We may have to... See, I don't remember much of this at all. We may have to fight Odin. Besides Bahamut, he is one of the last of the big dog original summons that we haven't fought. You should be more than familiar with the procedure by now. Pray, find a suitable position from which to keep watch while I take measurements. Yes, quite high, yet still markedly lower than the historical measurements taken near the end of the Sixth Astral Era. Could the presence of a primal account for the difference? Or is there something else? Something else. something else? Scion! Scion, come here, I need you! Fear not, my friends. Help has arrived. There you are, Shadow. Ori and I were worried about you. We're worried when you and your charge failed to return at the appointed hour. Cut it like a hog. But not by one, no. These wounds were made with a blade. Doesn't look like he put up much of a fight either. Nary a mark on his sword or his shield. I've heard nothing of any Crystal Brave operations in this area. What cause has Wildred to come here? What should we do? We will see to the scholar's protection, Shadow. Aye, and the boy's remains. You should return to the Rising Stones. The antecedent will want to know what happened here. And so do I. Shadow, you are returned, and you seem troubled. Did the role of escort chafe you? Wildred, dead? Mayhap murdered. By the 12, how can that be? I will send word to Alphino at once. He will want to conduct a full investigation and send word to Wildred's family. Gods, he was just a boy. Who would do this, and why? A time to every purpose. Though recent events weigh heavily on our minds, we must needs set them aside for now. We are coming to a defining moment in Eorzean history. The grand commemoration of our joint defense of Ishgard, the first time in 15 long years that our people have stood side by side with our neighbors to the north to fight in a common cause. This may mark the true rebirth of the Eorzean alliance. Failing that, it should at least serve to bring our nations closer together. We have every reason to raise our voices in celebration, do we not? We have bested Travanians and Ashians both. Against desperate odds, we have fought and won. But the Primals still plague us, and the Empire still plots our subjugation, and our triumphs, remarkable though they are, were brought at a terrible price. Brave adventurers and allies broken on the steps of faith, and before our eyes, in this very room, our dear friend Mombrita. This is a victory we have wrought, and it is as bitter ashes in my mouth. I would sooner stay here and invite those with more appetite to enjoy the feast in my stead. Alas, it is a royal banquet, and all our allies will be in attendance. It is our duty to present a united front, and we might serve as a beacon of hope to all. It seems I have no choice but to take my own advice. I instructed the others to meet us in Ul'dah, that we might make our grand entrance together. Unfortunately, I had to settle for leaving Tadaru and Lamin a note. If they do not return quickly, they'll have to settle for whatever leftovers I can smuggle out of the fragrant chamber. Off to the big soiree, Shadow. Raise a glass for me, eh? Or not. You don't look the best pleased, lad. Something on your mind? By the Navigator. Wilred's dead? They must have known we've been... Ah, I went too fast, sorry. Sod it. 'Tis past time we had this talk. After our last conversation, I got to thinking about where certain funds were coming from. So I had to dig around, on the quiet like, and sure enough, I found it. Seems a fair bit of coin's been made into the Braves' coffers courtesy of a Dodo Consortium. A daft name for a business if I ever heard one, which is what first gave me an inkling that something weren't right. So I went through the ledgers again, and found about half a dozen donations from organizations with stupid bloody names. Didn't take long to find the common thread. All were owned by the Mirage Trust. Oh, I'll give him credit. He showed us up for the amateurs we are. Sort of calling one of his businesses the bloody bribery consortium. I don't know what more he could have done to mock our rules on financial contributions. The cons only know how many men on the first and third are taken to Leggie's coin, but now we know as some of them are. I'd wager me right eye they're the ones what did for Wilred. The earnest young fool had taken to asking the wrong kind of questions. Bound to attract attention, he was. Should have seen it at the time, but I didn't. Still, I don't see what Leggy hopes to accomplish. He hid his scheme with all the care of a drunk pissing into the wind. No, he's cleverer than this, so we need to be clever too. That's the only way we'll ever repay the debt of blood. We'll purge every one of them traitors, blanks, from our ranks. On that, you have my word. And Shadow, mind yourself when you're in Odai, eh? We're heading into a storm. I can smell it. The kind that'll sweep a man overboard and drag him under before he knows it. And now I believe we're about to see the scene that sold so many people onto future expansions years ago. 2015 or so, when this patch came out. Wow, it's been 6 years since this event. Playing some Endwalkers made me realize we've come a very long way. We've been waiting for you, Shadow. The celebration is due to begin shortly. I hope that we might make our introductions together, but Mistress Momodi just sent word that we are needed at the quicksand. Come but not gone. We will go ahead, Shadow. Pray join us once matters at the quicksand are resolved. Give my regards to Momodi and let her know that I will call upon her anon. So one of the last people we're seeing is one of the first people we saw. It's our pal, Momodi. They really did a good job of making me like Lalafels by making some of the cooler characters Lalafels, I gotta admit. Back to the old Adventurers Guild. It's been a while. I appreciate you dropping on such short notice, Shadow. I know you've got places to be, so I won't waste your time. You're friends with a crystal brave by the name of Elaine, aren't you? Former adventurer? Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure you recruited her yourself. Well, anyway, she came around for a meal not too long ago, and before she left, she asked me to give you a message. Said if the others ended up dragging you to the feast, I was to see you got it before you made your grand entrance. Meet me at the station west of the Coffer and Coffin. There's something I must show you. A short message, I'll grant you. But she thought long and hard before picking those words. Barely touched her food, too. Under other circumstances, I thought those signs of a troubled heart. But something tells me she ain't planning to confess her undying love. So we're just going back to where our adventure started. waiting a bit. As you stand upon the platform, your thoughts begin to wander, and all too soon the ghosts of comrades lost and enemies slain begin to file by your mind's eye in the solemn procession. Clearing your head, you scan the horizon and see no sign of Elaine. So we look the other way. Straining your ears to listen, you hear the chatter of Kirkern and the buzzing of syrphids, but no approaching footfall. Sighing, you bow your head, only to notice the vial lying at your feet. Shadow, is that you? What brings you out this way? It's Laurentius. Best sideburns in the business. Lieutenant Elaine? Why no, I haven't seen her around. Had she come this way, I guarantee we would have crossed paths. I must have passed this spot a dozen times. We're to patrol the city's environs on account of royal banquet. Captain's orders, you understand? Speaking of which, isn't it about to begin? You should be with your other honored guests, enjoying your well-deserved respite. Aye, pray return to Old Shadow. If I chance to meet the lieutenant, I will tell you were there. You were here.
O Sultan Tree, hallowed spirit of my line. Through my weakness, the glorious house of Ul has all but disappeared beneath the sands. For want of the strength to raise it up again, it were better that it fall. Forgive me, but I know not what else to do.
So while the scene was going on, I did look it up. And once we turn this in, we do only have 2 missions of Realm Reborn. I reckon you'd head straight to the feast after meeting with Elaine. What's the matter? No appetite? Sorry, that's my dog. So she wasn't there, but this was? Let's see. Looks to me like an alchemist vial, but beyond that I can't say. Might be best if you hold on to it for safekeeping, though. Any road. No use worrying about Elaine. I'm sure she'll turn up before too long. And when she does, we'll soon find out, what's this... And when she does, we'll soon find out, what this is all in aid of. Besides, we've got more important things to worry about. Oh, the parting glass is this mission. Would you believe that? While you were away, another message arrived for you. Well, one did. One delivered by the Sultana handmaiden, no less. Seems Her Grace desires a private audience. Her handmaiden will meet with you in the royal promenade and escort you to the Sultana's chambers. So what are you waiting for? Go on then, go. Ooh. We're going straight in.
You needn't trouble yourself so.
Your Grace is most kind, but it is no trouble to me. Rather an honor. If your Grace is ready, I shall summon the Warrior of Light.
I am.
everyone looks to be in high spirits.
With good cause.
A common victory may serve to unite even the most unlikely of allies. You've brought us one step closer to a united Eorzea.
Your modesty knows no bounds, antecedent. Were it not for your efforts, Sir Emmerich would never have become such a steadfast ally. When he convinces his countrymen to rejoin the Alliance, we shall all reap the benefits, military and economic. I tell you, we are on the cusp of a new era of unity and prosperity. Territorial disputes are all that divide us now. But I have faith that we will find an amicable solution in time. And failing that, I'll have my trusty warrior of light box the ears of all concerned. Speaking of whom...
He will be joining us shortly. A matter at the quicksand required his attention, but it did not sound serious.
If you saw my freak out there, I didn't know that I could get rid of that box. Also, it shouldn't be on general. I wasn't reading, but if any Endwalker spoilers came by, I'm sorry. And my dog also knows the exact best time to be the loudest, to be the biggest nuisance. Whoops. That's a new move in Endwalker. I meant to sprint, not to do that. Man, I remember I rushed through these missions like 3 days before Heavensward came out originally. Thank you for coming, sir. Her Grace is most eager to speak with you. If you require a moment to compose yourself before your audience, you may have it. Or if you are ready, it would be my honor to escort you to Her Grace's chambers forthwith. Okay. I think this is one of the first times where it recommends you get some time aside to watch all this. And we do. So, enjoy.
Enter.
Your Grace, your guest has arrived.
Pray, come in.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit it early. I've been bad about that. I'm trying to be better.
Tis well that the steps of faith held against the Horde.
And what of the city proper?
We sustained some few losses, but the heart of our nation yet beats with vigor. I am not certain I could say the same had we not received your most generous aid.
An attack on Ishgard is an attack on the realm. We stand together or fall divided.
Such noble words after the fact.
I had hoped to speak in the presence of Her Grace, but it seems she has been delayed. That being the case, now would seem as good a time as any. Honored friends, pray allow me to convey Ishgard's warmest gratitude for your part in the defense of our lands. 'Tis upon the success of this very alliance that my recommendation to throw open the gates of judgment shall be founded. With the blessing of the Archbishop, it is my hope that Ishgard will soon be reunited with her long-estranged sister nations, and that Eorzea shall once more be as one.
Very well.
Is aught amiss?
Nothing to worry about. I shall return anon. You wished a word, Yu Hase?
You may go.
Your Grace.
You must be curious as to the reason for this private audience. The matter I would discuss, however, will soon make apparent the need for discretion. I intend to abdicate the throne and dissolve the monarchy. You have seen for yourself the storm of turmoil that howls through our streets. The government fails in its responsibilities, and my subjects suffer the consequences of our incompetence. But I will see them suffer no longer. The victory feast shall provide the stage on which I declare the dissolution of the Sultanate. 'Tis mine intent that the ruling class of our golden city should take its place beside the common man in a fair and equitable republic. No more shall this nation bow to the whims of a privileged few. Yet, that which I propose will entail the tearing up of this city's very foundations. And even Roban, with all his strength and influence, will be hard-pressed to keep his footing on such treacherous ground. Thus would I ask you to lend him a steadying hand. You who have endured the wrath of innumerable foes are the one hero in whom I can place my trust. Will you do this thing for me? I am truly grateful. More grateful than I can well express. How much we have both changed since that day we met beneath the Sultan tree. And the days ahead promise to change us further still. I hope that we will recognize ourselves when all of this is over.
Your Grace! Her Grace, the Sultana, is dead. Poison in her wine? You did this!
Spare us your denials! I see no other suspects, and the room has but the one entrance. I hereby accuse you of regicide. Men, arrest this viper.
Sir, barring a few exceptions, we have detained all those with allegiance to the Scions. The Rising Stones is also under our control.
And what do you hope to achieve with this mutiny?
Why, that which we have striven for all along, Commander. The salvation of Eorzea.
What is the meaning of this?
Knights from the homeland. This cannot bode well.
Lord Commander, we have received an urgent message from the Holy See. I am grieved to report that your serpentine foes have resumed their assault. Needless to say, your presence is urgently required. These knights have come to bear you swiftly home to Ishgard.
A surprise attack?
We've had no such word from our men, and the timing is most fortuitous to catch us away from the city.
Most fortuitous indeed.
Lord Commander, we must away.
You have been a most gracious host. I hope that I might one day return the favor. Come, Lucia.
Whatever is going on in there? Ah, the ever-dutiful brass blades. I must apologize, but my dance card is rather full. Another time, perhaps?
Thancred, of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. You stand accused of committing acts of espionage in service to the Garlean Empire.
Espionage? What in the seven hells are you talking about? Ah, if you're referring to that business with the Ultima weapon, then you must understand, I wasn't myself.
Under interrogation, an Imperial prisoner revealed your involvement in numerous dealings with the enemy. We've also been investigating reports that you are a practitioner of forbidden art. You'd best come along with us.
You invite me to your party and now you want me to leave? I do so detest receiving mixed signals. Come then. I believe I've lost my appetite for this farce of a celebration.
go too far, Lord Adeleji. By what right do you march armed soldiers into a royal banquet and eject state visitors without Her Grace's consent? You treat the brass blades as your personal army and show contempt for the throne with your every act. Leave us, now.
Is that an order, General? Mayhap you have mistaken me for one of your flames. You will find I am not so slavishly obedient. As you lecture me on personal armies. As for your outrageous claim that I have shown contempt for the throne, let all here observe that it was not I who feasted while an assassin removed its occupant. I expect this is your idea of defending the nation, is it? This and diluting our forces through these distractions in Cartano and Kurthis. I do begin to see how the ranks of the Immortal Flames came to be riddled with Garlean sympathizers. You are plainly unfit for command.
Wait, goddamn you. Your words make no sense. What assassin?
You mean to say you don't know? We caught the vaunted champion of the Scions in Her Grace's private chambers, not moments after the deed was done.
No! No, this cannot be!
Save your breath. You will need it to plead your case. You and your entire order are to be tried for this atrocity. Bring in the prisoner!
Great time for the glitch. They shaved my head.
This man stands accused of poisoning Her Royal Majesty Nanamo Ul Namo, and as suspected accessories to the crime, all members of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn will be detained for questioning.
This is madness!
What a pity. Who'd have thought your tale would end like this?
Should you demand further proof, a vial with traces of the substance used to poison Her Grace was found upon the assassin's person.
How very convenient.
You would speak of convenience? Who persuaded Her Grace to host this celebration? A diversion which presented you and your confederates ample opportunity to commit the crime, and a crowd within which to fade from view. A more convenient occasion I could scarcely imagine.
How dare you! After all we have done for Uldar!
Hold your tongue, witch! I'll not be ensorcelled! I know all about the dark gift that you and your disciples wield. Oh yes, I've observed how you worked upon the minds of the Alliance leaders, bending them to your will. And what of your cordial relationship with Sir Emmerich? For years, Ishgard abjured all contact with the outside world, and now the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights treats you with the familiarity of a childhood friend. I'll tell you what I think. I think this desperate defense of Ishgard was but a ruse to deceive us into dividing our forces. Your next move will be to charm your Kurthan allies into invading our lands! Now that is truly ridiculous!
How do you even think of this stuff?
She cannot be dead. Stand aside, Ilbert. I want to see the Sultana.
Spare yourself the pain, brother. I saw her with my own eyes. For a mercy, the poison took her swiftly. Her handmaiden can attest to that.
This cannot be. Nanamo. No!
Plainly, the Royalists can no longer be relied upon to keep our nation safe. And so it falls to the monitorists of the Syndicate to govern Uldar. But should you wish to help us, General, we would be more than happy to entrust the task of planning Her Grace's funeral to you. It seems only right that you should bury your precious Sultana, and we will be glad to be rid of that burden.
I'll bet you will. You more than any man.
Whatever do you mean?
I mean you had her killed, you black-hearted bastard!
What rot! Though I did have sufficient motive, 'tis true. That young lady caused me no end of grief. She always was a most unwilling puppet. I dare say Her Grace was grateful that someone thought to cut her strings.
You would mock her, then mock her from hell!
What?
Have you lost your mind, General? It is forbidden to draw steel in the royal chambers, much less slaughter our fellow Syndicate members. You're one of them. You've been in league with the Scions all along.
You're next to scheming bastard!
Raban!
Seven hells!
Admiral, we must leave.
Ah!
How unlike you, old friend. I did not expect to take your arm so easily.
Take the Scions into custody. They have conspired to commit regicide. And arrest this traitor as well.
Ilbert, I hope you choke on their coin.
'Tis better than the dirt I've supped on these long years. We can't all abandon Alamigo and become great war heroes as you have. You are not the man you once were, Raban. Since that girl strapped the yoke around your neck, you've become docile. She took the mad bull and cut off his balls, and a bull that cannot rot is fit for naught but slaughter. Shall I tell you who really killed your precious Sultana? It was me.
You die! never doubted you, not for a moment. But there is more to this than I yet understand. Flee this place. Clear your names. Find out who is behind this plot. It is the only way. Now go!
Ah, there you are.
Thancred! Where have you been?
Avoiding the fumbling advances of some very persistent admirers. When I realized the celebrations had turned sour, it seemed prudent to slip away and take stock of the situation. 'Twould appear that much of the city is already under tight guard. It occurs to me that expanding the Brass Blade's authority may not have been such a wonderful idea after all.
The success of this plan was contingent upon those thugs having the run of the place. Just how long has this scheme been in motion?
The careful preparations, the maneuvering of forces. I am inclined to agree with the General's insistence that a deeper plot exists here.
So, would I be right in thinking we now have an excuse to pummel as many brass blades as we like?
Unless you plan on pummeling them all, I'm not sure that will greatly aid our cause.
The Sultana's assassination was but one part of the scheme. We too were its targets. And though we did not share poor Nanamo's fate, we are yet hobbled by the charges laid at our door. Where now might we seek refuge?
Where indeed, we may safely assume that our foe has thought to have the Rising Stones watched.
Forgive me for stating the obvious, but our choice of destination will matter little if we cannot secure an escape route out of Ul'dah. Happily, I believe I can provide one. Papa Shan once told me about the passages hidden in the walls of the palace. If I recall correctly, the fireplace in Nanamo's chambers conceals the entrance to a tunnel. It should lead outside the city and allow us to avoid any messy confrontations.
The rest of you go on ahead. I'll handle this lot.
By yourself? I suppose I shall just have to join you.
Crystal Braves too, huh? Now this should be interesting.
Ida! Papa Limo!
We will hold our pursuers here. Hurry, now! Find this tunnel of Thancred's.
Minfilia, we cannot linger.
Now look what you've done.
Ida, are you all right? There are just too many of them.
I'm fine. I could do this all day. How about you?
Nearing the end of my tether.
This is so stupid. We're the scions of the Seventh Dawn. The ones who stand between this realm and the evil that's trying to destroy it.
And if you think we'll leave the stewardship of Eorzea to the likes of your masters, then you're sorely mistaken.
Sorry I dragged you into this, Papalymo.
'Tis hardly the first time, and I'll be damned if it will be the last. Let them have it, Ida!
I was hoping you'd say that.
I never knew such a watercourse existed beneath Uldar.
The architecture is of the Sildine style, if I'm not mistaken. The ancient...
Sorry.
This way!
Well, that didn't take long. It seems these tunnels were not as secret as I'd hoped.
You two, go on ahead. Thancred and I will deal with this.
What do you mean to do?
Only that which is required to ensure that the dawn's light survive to brighten the morrow.
Fear not, antecedent. You haven't seen the last of these fair features.
My friends.
Leave us!
What is the plan, milady? Shall I take the dozen on the left and you the dozen on the right? The odds are not exactly stacked in our favor.
Numbers will count for little when I bring the tunnel down upon their heads. Though I cannot say I relish the thought of being entombed with you for all eternity.
You wound me. I will have you know that many a maid would kill for the chance to spend forever at my side. Now, may I have the last dance? Well, this is going splendidly.
Now would be a good time, milady!
'Tis done. Forgive me, Mitra.
Farewell, Ophelia.
Heidelin, she speaks to me. No. I must remain behind, but you cannot stay with me. Please, you must go on. You are the warrior of light. You are hope for the Scions and for all the realm. As long as your flame continues to burn, the light of the dawn may ever be relit. You must escape and save Eorzea from those who would plunge it into darkness. Tis the only way.
I may have forgot to mention this is the longest scene in the game, so sorry that I'm silent.
I am glad to see you safe, my friend. What of the others? Damn that man! Teleji played me for a fool! I thought the Crystal Brave's mine till the very moment I felt the blade at my back.
There will be ample time for soul-searching later. For now, we must put some arms between us and Ul'dah.
Well, would you look who it is? Need a ride? I doubt it'll be half as exciting as the last trip we took. Not if I have anything to say about it anyway. Let's not dawdle, eh? I was stocking up on supplies over in Vesper Bay, you see, when your sister come up and begged a favour. Said her brother was having some trouble down in Ul'dah, and likely needed a helping hand getting away. Thinking them ruins would make a fine hiding place, I decided to try there first. and lo and behold, there you were. Aye, and judging by them soldiers as were pouring out of the city, I arrived not a moment too soon. Ha! Must have been fate that we happened to find you there, though, eh?
I had thought to look out for Alize, but would appear she was the one watching over me. I've made such a mess of things.
And who might you be, young sir?
Pippin Terrapin, Vice Marshal of the Immortal Flames. I had been on the Alamegan front these past few moons, but an urgent communication called me back to Uldar. Scarce had my boots touched the cobbles, though, when the streets erupted with cries of assassination. I immediately went in search of answers, and came across Master Alfino here. Needless to say, I did not think his imprisonment justified. The blame plainly lies with the Monitarists. Their greed and corruption are well known to me, but for them to take advantage of the situation with such alacrity...
Was that Pippin, you said? Ain't that the name of General Alden's lad?
Yes, I am his son. Adopted, of course. 'Twas only as we were leaving Uldar that I learned of father's fate. Once I have seen you a safe distance away, I mean to return to the city and extricate him from this madness.
Then you needn't travel no further than Blackbrush. Our fugitives have a friend waiting for them there.
I dreamed of bringing about Eorzea's salvation, but in the end, 'twas I who needed saving.
Them soldiers keep searching for a while yet. Reckon we'll take the carriage back towards Ul'dah and get the lay of the land. May provide a distraction if need be. You three wait here. Help will be along shortly. Stay strong, friends. The real fight's to come. Alright, let's go. So yeah, that's a long scene. Here comes the last scene. The most unassuming folk can prove to be our greatest allies. That fellow was but a passing merchant, yet he lent us aid without a moment's hesitation, or any hint of concern for his own safety. Though I can well imagine how a man could feel inspired to risk all in your presence. Father spoke often of you, Shadow, and long have I looked forward to our first meeting. Needless to say, this is not at all how I envisioned it. Master Alfino, you must not give in to despair. That would only play into our enemy's hands. So long as you and Shadow are free, we may still set things right. Forgive me, Marshal Terrapin, but Alfino, my boy, sorry to keep you waiting. Sid, what are you doing here? Pulling you out of a fire, as usual. Your merchant friend told me everything. Truly, then he is no merchant but an angel in peddler's clothing. But tell us, how do you intend to bear our friends to safety? I hid the Enterprise but a short distance away. All I need is a destination. We must find a place beyond the reach of both the Monitarists and the Crystal Braves. Korthus, Ishgard would not suffer the intrusion of foreign forces in their territory. That settled it. With me, everyone. Not I fear. I must remain here. I dare not abandon Ul'dah to the Monitarists and their croonies. You may be certain that they will seek to defame you, both here and in the other city-states. But know that I shall do my utmost to thwart their every effort. Frankly, I do not expect it to be much of a challenge. The small folk will not turn so easily on the Warrior of Light and his allies, no matter what the Monitarists claim. Master Terrapin, I know not what to say. Now that father would labor to believe. But enough talk. You must go, Master Alphino. Your airship awaits. I'm sorry for my dog. I don't know why nobody's getting her out. Up, up. There's no rest for the righteous. I gotta say, I now no longer regret doing all of 2.5 in one day. We should make for Camp Dragonhead and speak with Lord Haunchfond. Mayhap he will know what to do. I'll get us a good look over that mountain at our next destination. Because we're about to finish this up. I will say, before we see the last scene for Realm Reborn, I highly, highly, highly recommend, because I'm not going to be putting it on this channel, at least not unless something changes, but watch the Crystal Tower raids and the Binding Coils of Bahamut raid cutscenes, because they are super important later. Master Alphino told me of your tale, Shadow. It warms my heart that you should turn to me before all others, and I shall endeavor to deserve your trust. Alas, the situation here has grown more complicated in your absence. 'Twould be best if I explained in full. Oh, there was one more mission, I guess. Before the Dawn.
There has been word from the capital. Ishgard has weathered another assault, and 'tis said several wyverns broke through into the city proper. The temple knights succeeded in slaying the beasts, but the intrusion prompted orders to further strengthen the guard, and to place the city under a perpetual state of alert. How keenly we feel the loss of our wards at the gates of judgment. Yet we must not bemoan our misfortune. Sir Emmerich is safely returned from Ul'dah, and once more leads the defense of Ishgard. As for the matter of your asylum, I am afraid no progress will be made until the threat to our nation is diminished. But do not despair. You are not without allies. You are more than welcome to shelter here for as long as you wish. Pray, think of it as a new headquarters of sorts. The Falling Snows, or some such. All frivolity aside, any who come here in search of you will receive no aid from House Fortom. For once, the Ishgardian reputation for inhospitality shall work in our favor. Agents of Ul'dah will find their every inquiry dismissed, and their every request for entry rebuffed, until such time as their masters have acknowledged your innocence. You once fought to preserve the honor of my dear friend. 'Tis a blessing that I may now repay that debt in kind. But let us dwell no more on this. Pray, join the rest of your companions. 'Tis bitterly cold this day. I suspect there are those who might welcome the warmth your presence brings.
How nice of him. Haunch Fawn is a bro. Greetings, sir. Shall I show you inside? Okay, we got several cutscenes in sequence again. Alphino, Shadow, is it really you? I'm so happy that you are. I tried contacting Memphilia and the others, but no one would respond. And then Crystal Braves, our own people, turned on us in the marketplace. Flamen told me to run, and so I did. I ran and ran until my lungs burned and my feet ached, but I lost my way, and then... Fortunately, I had observed some of the Braves behaving suspiciously beforehand. Ah yes, my mask. It was lost in the struggle. Pretty, isn't she? Anyway, after Yagiri found me, we traveled to Vesper Bay and met up with Urianger. When we told him what had happened, he used his magics to weave a glamour around the Waking Sands. From the outside, our old headquarters now looks like an abandoned storehouse. The transformation didn't take long either. Apparently, Urianger started making preparations after the Imperial attack, just in case the Empire ever chose to pay us another visit. Good thinking, eh? Sorry, where was I? Oh yes, so we waited there at the Waking Sands, hoping others would come, but no one else did. My people are searching for the other Scions even as we speak, but we have met with no successes yet. I had hoped that you might be able to suggest further places to look. But you should know, the Rising Stones did not share the Waking Sands' good fortunes. Only Crystal Braves await you there. Be that as it may, we yet have cause to hope, do we not? If the two of you escaped, it is not impossible that the others could have done so as well. You may have been forsaken by men and women believed true, but rest assured that the people of Doma yet stand with you. We welcome this opportunity to repay our debts, and shall continue our efforts to locate the others and see the Scions restored to their rightful place of honor.
"'Tis all my doing. I believed myself the only one who truly understood Eorzea's woes. And look what that arrogance has wrought. I gave commands, influenced governments with my certainty. I treated the Crystal Braves, and even the Scions themselves, as pawns in my great scheme to save the realm. But in my headlong rush into imagined glory, I paid no heed to the ground upon which I trod. The salvation of Eorzea. What was it that I hoped to achieve? Did I believe that I could rid the realm of every danger and difficulty? That I could defeat the Empire and the Ascians, and find homes for every refugee? Oh yes, I was so very clever. Become a guardian of Eorzea, I implored, and sat back to watch my perfect army cleanse the land of chaos. It was all but a means to feed my own vanity. Only when all is lost do I finally realize the truth.
Oh, Alphino.
So, Master Alphino, are you content to remain a broken blade? Is there no flame hot enough to reforge you? What of the fine companions who yet stand at your side? I dare say the fires of their determination will soon have you slicing the air again with your customary wit.
I hardly deserve such friendship. And besides, where are we to go?
Alphino, if I may?
Should this place not serve our purpose, then we shall go to Ishgar. Minfilia told me many times, as long as we stand fast against despair, the beacon of hope will never be lost to sight. Be it in the snow or in the clouds, we few will see that the dawn's light shines again.
You are right, Tataru. Thank you. And thank you for your kind words, Lord Orchefon. 'Tis true that Eorzea yet has her guardians. The Scions have achieved much, and 'twould be remiss of me to discard it all in a fit of self-pity. Let us then resume our journey, together, one step at a time.
So this is the exact same, so I'm going to just go through. But yeah, so that's the end of A Realm Reborn. It starts off just good, but then those last few scenes really, really set up and get you hyped for Heavensward, which Heavensward is one of... I say it's one of the better expansions, but it's third place to me. I say that. I have not finished Endwalker, but if it stays at the quality that I'm seeing right now, it's definitely up there. But this is the same, so I am going to skip it, hoping that doesn't skip the extra scene. Okay, good.
All has been arranged as you desired, my lord.
So it was actually not Teleji. Nabrialis is no more. The Ardor was not his to invoke. His demise was of his own making. Nevertheless, it concerns me. They have extinguished that which should rightly be eternal. Mayhap he was not wholly mistaken. Greater haste may be warranted. We are of one mind. The northern lands, then? The earth is fertile, and the seeds well sown. By my will they shall reap salvation unlike any the world has known. By his will. By his will. I have answered thy summons, emissary. Speak, and make thine intent known. I would speak of fate, Archon. Yours, mine. The fate of this very star. Oof. So Urianger's broken bad. We've lost all the rest of the Scions. Alphino's depressed. Things seem great.
Thou thinkest sanctuary lieth beyond. Delusion. Despair. Death. Thou shalt find naught else here.
To preserve the dawn's light, the heroes journeyed north. Their hearts filled with hope and eyes fixed heavensward. And that is A Realm Reborn. Thank you guys for joining me. Next will be Kingdom Hearts. To take a break from this, and then we'll get on to Heavensward when the current issue is solved. Apologies for my dog again. So join me then, and I will resume Final Fantasy VIII, I promise. I'm just trying to look for a format that suits me better. So until then, thank you. Look up the the raids, the Alliance raids, the Crystal Tower, and the Binding Coils of Bahamut, because they will be super important later, and I'm not playing them on a stream. But until then, stay awesome.